It's up in stairs, man. You have to settle for a Glock. Sorry, it's the same old Glock. And it's Glock Talk, Lock and Load on gun channels, broadcasting on the interwebs, on gun channels around the world, talking about guns, freedom, and the truth until dawn, or until we run out of alcohol, whichever comes first. All right, so we're at an all-time high for Bitcoin. So I'll just say crypto supremacy, and I'll leave it at that. Kona Guns is going to be open next year. Apparently, I did an ammo run a few days ago, and I talked to the owner, and he's going to renew his lease somehow, and he's still trying to sell the shop. I guess being a shop owner and doing all that paperwork doesn't agree with him. After a few years, he figured that out, which is what I think I told him the first day. Running a business doesn't have anything to do with, like, running a gun shop doesn't have anything to do with guns. It's like paperwork and running a shop and showing up every day and all that stuff. But it will be there. So I got some 357 private partisan preview party or whatever it's called from they make it in Serbia for my GP100. Some Armscore 223, some Blazer 45, and I don't know, maybe a couple other things. And so that was all the gun news in Kona that's fit to print. I got a response from my senator in Hawaii, just a form email, if there's such a thing, saying that he thinks there can be public safety and Second Amendment rights all at once. I mean, let's see how gun control contributes to that, but Feinstein has another bill to limit parts, to restrict the parts any part that can increase the rate of fire of a semi-auto rifle. We should make all your aftermarket triggers illegal, I think. So I'm glad I didn't replace the aftermarket trigger on my Tavor. I didn't see the Tavor on the list of Feinstein's bill, but maybe we went through it so fast I missed it. Do you remember seeing that when we went through it the other day?
Wouldn't it be right underneath the Galil and the Uzi?
I didn't see it, the Tavor there. I saw the Galil Ace band and the proposed legislation that hasn't been taken up and hopefully won't be. But I think the thing to remember is that obviously Trump won't be president forever, and how long we have a Republican majority in the Senate, I don't know. The whole thing in Alabama, that soap opera, looks like they're going to flip a red state to blue based on a 40-year-old sexual harassment claim. I guess. I don't know. I wasn't there 40 years ago. I don't know what happened. So it's power. The political power can change as far as who controls the Senate, and I definitely don't want to see what nasty legislation Chuck Schumer can come up with. I mean, he was one of the people that sponsored that disaster, along with my idiot senators. But I went on the firearms policy and gun owners of Americans. I always do, send the appropriate political active letter, pro-Second Amendment letter. I try and do my part to keep freedom alive. And I'm still kind of a little annoyed over that whole thing with the FBI agent on Oiley's show that seemed to think that if somebody's speaking Spanish, that's or any foreign language, that's enough of an excuse to start an investigation. I just can't imagine how you could present evidence in a court of law if that was your basis for starting an investigation. So whatever you discovered after you started an investigation, it would seem to me would be tossed out of court. If the lawyer asks, well, why did you start this investigation? Well, I saw some people speaking Spanish and so I investigated. I was like, really? So you just violated their First, Fourth, and 14th Amendments rights. All the evidence just gets tossed, and you just wasted everybody's time. So it's like violating their Second Amendment rights. Well, they have other rights too. It doesn't matter what they were doing or what evidence you uncover. I mean, you could seize any drugs or money or confiscate any cash they have in their car, but they're going to walk if the reason you started an investigation is that it's just that they were speaking Spanish. I mean, it was idiotic, but it wasn't my show, and I let them talk. But it just proves to me that government employees don't know what the fuck they were doing. It's like if a cop rolls up on you and you have like a bunch of ammo and like a gun in your car, and they try and do a felony stop. It's like, okay, gun. Somebody yells out gun and felony stop, and because you had a gun, it makes no sense. Why would you? But
well, back up a minute here. There was an FBI agent on Oiley's show.
Yeah.
No.
A retired former FBI agent.
Oh, okay.
Because
He was
he's a
talking
prepper.
about being at a restaurant and having two people speaking Spanish looking at his kids.
Yeah,
and
right.
talking
All that
about-
because he was a parent. Somehow he could just start an investigation because I mean that shit.
It was
about,
a show about situational awareness, being aware of your surroundings.
I ordered that book, by the way. I ordered Left of Bang from Amazon and the American flag and a new filter for my CPAP machine off Amazon. So my Black Friday shopping is all done. But it was about situational awareness. But two people speaking Spanish, he was saying, well, I was an FBI agent and I interdicted drugs. And it's like, well, okay, but what is it? So you went out, you would start an investigation because people were speaking Spanish.
At no point did he say anything about investigating.
Well,
He was talking about situational awareness. They were drawing
he's an
attention.
FBI people investigate. I mean, if that's what drew he said specifically that because he was interdicting drugs, all of the suspects spoke Spanish, so people speaking Spanish
And if
caused him to raise his suspicion. That's the first thing that raises his suspicion. I'm like, really? How fast could all?
and it would me too.
Well, but if
There, listening to somebody speak a language I did not understand, I would be very concerned at what they were saying and what they were planning.
That was
well,
the
I
point
would
of the
have my-
conversation.
Yeah, but
with regard to
but
situational awareness.
that's you being paranoid.
You're
It's
the one that
me
thinks the
being
world
aware
economy is
of my
going to
situation.
collapse, and you're going to
No,
call
that's
us
math.
paranoid?
That's math. That's math. The economy collapsing, the national debt is math. Bitcoin is math. The national debt is math. Somebody speaking Spanish is that people are free to speak Spanish without having an FBI agent start an investigation. And he was saying, well, I was an FBI agent. I interdicted drugs, and all of them spoke Spanish. So if somebody speaks Spanish, I'm suspicious of them. And I was like, so I would like to see how an FBI agent could introduce one piece of evidence in a court of law if it's a perfect example of the government employees trying to put a square peg into a round hole. If you start an investigation because somebody's speaking Spanish, you're violating their First, Fourth, and 14th Amendment rights. They can speak Spanish all day long without having an investigation. If you start an investigation, any evidence you find will get tossed, and the case will get tossed. So aside from wasting government resources, it just seems like FBI needs better training.
It sounds more like where it's a situation where he went after them specifically because they were speaking Spanish. And, I checked the Constitution. The Constitution does say you have the right to free speech. It doesn't say that you have to speak in English. It doesn't say that you have to speak in, American. it says you have the right to free speech. So technically, he was violating their First Amendment rights over anything else.
Well, I will say, for concern, if somebody's sitting there speaking Spanish, my eye is going to be on them closer than somebody I can understand what they're saying.
I guess it depends. If you're in a part of town where nobody speaks Spanish, then what I was trying to say.
It really doesn't matter. Why? We carry a gun to protect ourselves. Protecting ourselves is a paying attention to people that are around us.
Yes, but the thing is, what are we paying attention to? And what I was trying to say, what was in Left of Bang, that Marine Corps Combat Hunter Program book on situational awareness, was that you look for anomalies, things that are out of place. So if there's
Spanish is not an anomaly, huh?
It depends what city you're in. If you're in Laredo, no. But if you're in Laredo, you got to figure everybody's probably in trying to smuggle drugs. But no matter what language they're speaking,
I will defend, because I probably could not tell if they were speaking Spanish or any other language. Yeah. So, I'm not going to be able to pick out and say, oh, those people are speaking Spanish.
Yeah, well, it's not just what I was trying to say was, and people didn't let me say it, was that it's not suspicious for people from South America to speak Spanish, from people from France to speak French, from people from Germany to speak German. That's not unusual or suspicious.
When you're in this country, you don't speak it loudly and try to draw attention to yourself, but lots of people do. What Mouse and I were saying is, when we were overseas, we spoke English quietly, as opposed to the foreigners that come over here and speak it loudly and are boisterous. You're going to draw attention to yourself. And when this guy's got a kid wearing a karate, what are those things called, a gi, and they're using Spanish words for fight, and they're looking at his kid, he's probably discerning that they're talking about his kid being in martial arts. The rest of the conversation he couldn't figure out. That's enough to draw his attention as a parent. Situational.
But as a government law enforcement agent, you can't start an investigation.
Did he say he was arresting?
He said he basically, what he said was, I was a government FBI I'm retired FBI, and I used to interdict drugs, so I know better than you. And I know better than him, because I used to be paranoid that everybody was speaking about me too. And when I was dubbing, the first time I started dubbing, guess what? I was in a room with people speaking foreign languages, and I thought they just were talking about me all the time the first day. But it turns out they weren't talking about me at all. I was an engineer. I was completely insignificant to them. I was just the guy that pushes the buttons when I'm supposed to record them. And they would prefer that I was completely invisible, and no matter what I thought they were talking about, they weren't talking about that. They weren't talking about anything except just between them. Just, it wasn't anything criminal or evil or hostile, and it wasn't about me or anything. So it's just people's paranoia gets them carried away sometimes. But
well,
do you still mind?
And I guess to think of too is, like where I live, if I went to town and there was somebody in that restaurant speaking another language, they would be way out of place, because in my part of where I live, in a little small community, we know everybody, and a foreign language is not something that happens.
Did you get any Canadians in there speaking French or something from that part of Canada? Any French speakers? No?
Nope. No, not very often. We're, like I said, we're pretty much a rural community. If you go into a restaurant, you're going to know most of the people in that restaurant. So in that situation, they would be out of place. Now, like where Squib lives in Detroit, you're going to have foreign people there. So it's not going to be out of place for him to have that kind of talk in a restaurant. I guess my point is in my neighborhood, I would say, yeah, somebody talking like that does bring more suspicion, because area.
Yeah, well, basically, yeah. Well, you're looking for anomalies, and you're not basing. I mean, not basing it on just that they're speaking foreign. If speaking a foreign language is an anomaly for your area, and then that would be something. But you still couldn't start a law enforcement investigation on it and expect to actually introduce evidence into court. But if you're just a civilian,
well, you can investigation on anything. You can't prosecute without evidence.
Right, and you can't present any evidence, so why are you wasting time investigating? But anyway.
Situations. All right, let's go on.
It's still a violation of constitutional rights.
Yeah, and that's what we're supposed to be all about on Gun Channel, is people's rights. So anyway.
I agree. It's wrong. It shouldn't have happened, but let's be honest. The law enforcement in this country is allowed to lie. And they're allowed to get evidence and do literally whatever they want unchecked.
Right, except when it comes to presenting evidence, and they need to have evidence. Supposed to be collecting evidence that they can present in court, and so they have. If it's like that, let's just go to the Die Hard rule of the rules of what the Constitution rules in Die Hard. Policemen have rules. You won't remember that scene where one of the German guys tells you won't kill me. Policemen have rules they have to follow. So
except for if you're investigating Hillary.
We don't talk about her. That boat has sailed. Or has it sunk? I'm not sure which. I think it sank. It didn't sail. It sank.
Yeah, but why can't we find anything and put her in prison?
Because for the same reason we can't get any pro-gun legislation through the through the Senate or the House.
Speaking of boats sailing, I like what President Trump did when he went to the Asian Pacific conference there. Walk softly and carry a big stick. He carried 3 carrier task forces. He was nice to everybody, but he was backed up by 3. He literally had 3 carrier task force offshore. I mean, that is one.
Well, it was a statement that as America, we will not be intimidated by anybody. Oh, it was supposed to represent a show of strength of America.
Yeah, lock and load, 3 carrier task force and a bunch of bombers.
Hey, I'm not complaining. I thought that was a good idea.
Me too. I thought it was a great idea. You're gonna negotiate. You put all your aces face up and say, okay, we've got a full house.
Yeah.
What does this guy in Korea have? He doesn't have much, but who knows how that's going to turn out? Did we lose Squib? Did he exist?
We did lose Squib.
All right. I hope he makes it back.
Hi, by the way. How's it going?
Well, I'm riding a very high and beautiful wave of crypto supremacy today.
Okay. Hey, I got an email from President Trump last week.
Oh, ever since I sent him $10 for his campaign, I get an email almost every week from him.
Yeah, I got an email from him because I told him I was concerned. I sent him an email saying I was very concerned about his stance on the Second Amendment with all that's going on, and he did make campaign promises. And I know that politicians don't normally keep their campaign promises. I understand that. But the issue is, I let him know that he was not originally a politician, and then I expect him to keep his promises. So, now granted, it was a generic response email, like all of them probably are. So it's probably sent by his administration, not him directly. But either way, he signed it.
Yeah, Team Trump or something. I get an email once a week from them asking for me to fill out a opinion poll and to donate money. So, but I need to save my money for crypto right now, or ammo.
I would go ammo.
I did an ammo run, like I said at the start of the show, over over the last few days at Kona Guns, which will be open next year.
Somebody bought it?
Not yet. He's trying to sell it, and he's haggling over the price with one person, and he's got another buyer interested. So. But the store will be there. He's going to re-sign it for one more year, at least, I guess, in his spot. So that's good news.
That is good news. But I know you don't like to hear this, but remember what Matt says. You can never have enough ammo.
I thought that just was a hook for his show.
It's actually not. It is his catch name, but it does ring true. You can never have enough ammo. Do you think you have enough? You don't have enough.
I have enough for most any disaster.
If you think that, you don't have nearly as much as you think you do.
No, I did a video on where I cataloged exactly how much ammo I have, and I've got more since then. So
you need to have like a room filled with ammo.
I have a condo filled with ammo and knives.
You need more ammo, less knives, more ammo.
Wait, I'm getting the Combat Commander sword from, the one that kind of looks like that was in the 300 with Gerard Butler.
Right.
One of those.
I thought you were all about the karambit. What do you need a sword for?
You get a little more reach. Plus you can destroy the shit out of anything with a bigger sword like that.
If you want reach, just put a bayonet on the end of your Tavor. Job done.
Well, speaking of bayonet, I got a new, really cool. I got the M48 Cyclone.
Oh, you did?
There it is.
Oh. Hey, how about that? That's pretty cool. I can support that. Just duct tape that onto the end of your Tavor, you'll be good.
Duct tape? I don't think so.
Well, your Tavor doesn't have a bayonet lug, so you just use that. Just duct tape it. You'll be good.
Well,
100 mile an hour duct tape.
Yeah. Duct tape has held stronger things together too, so you know.
Well,
hey, you wouldn't believe some of the things I've done with duct tape.
Or me.
I've held my combine together all day on a piece of duct tape. So,
speaking of which, I saw on the news that China's going to be buying a bunch of United States soybeans. Did the price of your soybeans increase at all, or the last week?
Not yet. No. They're pretty steady right now. What's going to make them increase, though, is the fact that a lot of them in the country aren't going to get harvested because we are so wet. I still have 200 acres of beans to run yet, and doesn't know how to swim.
Is the rain that bad?
Oh, yeah. I'm for the ground to freeze in order to drive it because we have got so much mud that I would just go out and go plop if I tried to drive it across the field right now.
Well, maybe you need like a mud truck with big like monster truck with mud wheels that you could drag something behind to harvest your soybeans. Well,
and all that's fine too, but you start wallowing in mud, you damage your soil. So next year, that area is probably not going to grow a crop. So that's the other thing.
But isn't next year that going to be somebody else's problem?
Well, it might be, but even so, I don't want to damage my land. I don't want to damage anybody's land. And I wouldn't want anybody to damage my land. So,
but don't you think a monster truck with mud wheels would be just awesome fun? I mean, it's like a pig in mud, right?
I've owned one of those before.
Most monster trucks use tractor tires.
And trucks are a major money draw.
Yeah,
Hooked
they
into
always
playing
break.
with those toys, stuff. You buy more stuff. I had one once. I grew out of that.
Well, yeah, the last Mad Max movie kind of piqued my curiosity. Some of the cars in that movie in the Namib Desert were just fucking awesome. But they weren't mud. It was desert there. So
Well, and I used to have a 4-wheel drive pickup. I always drove up to the sand dunes and played on the weekends too, on the sand dunes. You would drive up there, you'd play in the sand all day and replace wheel bearings and brakes and everything so you could drive to work on Monday morning.
okay, I'm just gonna see what's going on the externals there for a minute. Wow, Batjack is there from Arizona. That's awesome, man. Dude, how's Arizona? My folks, my dad and my mom are going to take a month holiday. I mean, they're retired, but they're going to visit Arizona and rent a house for a month to see if they like it. At this point, my dad wants to move. My mom doesn't. So the only effect on me is Batjack used to run like a local, the Elite Hunters, which was a shop like a block away from my condo. But they're gonna basically, if I have to go visit them because my dad needs some help or something because he's getting older, then that's the only reason it would affect me. But the problem, obviously, in New York and California with the tax bill, if it passes, is that the state taxes won't be deductible, and New York and California have very high state taxes. And pension fund that are upside down. Which a lot of states do. Anyway, I hope Batjack is okay in there. And I think he bought something new. I saw a video. I didn't have time to look at it today. I know he just posted one, but I'll get to it after the show. My computer has been so damn busy mining Bitcoin because basically you can go on, if you have Windows 10, you could just download from the Windows store. You go onto the Windows store in Windows 10 and just download Bitcoin Miner app. And you enter your Bitcoin address, hit start mining, and then...
You're not going to make much that way. You need an ASIC processor.
I don't need much. I have my cloud mining that deposits most. It's just a little extra. That and Faucet Hub was down all day. I think when Bitcoin hit a new high today, everybody piled into all the faucets, and it crashed to Faucet Hub. So many claims and requests to deposit money. It's been in maintenance mode most all day. So I got some secondary and altcoins on there, and I'm gonna transfer it off, I think. But when it comes back up, but I'm pretty happy.
What's up? What's up with G-Webs? I'm looking at the chat too.
Oh,
Same dumb comment twice today. On
what dumb
stuff
comment
I've said.
did he make?
Well,
What did you say that?
when I was talking about not being able to combine because we are so rain, he's typed in lazy, and then
Afraid
he's
to hit
typed
the
in
truck's
afraid.
body.
Lay sawdust down?
Yeah, you know. So is he trying to piss off his members, or what is he trying to do?
Well, at least he's trying to piss off you instead of me. So
Oh, wait for it. Wait for it.
yeah, I'm waiting for him to.
I mean, if he doesn't want me on this site, tell him to block me, and I will be gone. I've had
I want
enough of
you
him
on
today.
this site. I'll be G-Webs. Don't be mean to farmers with monster trucks.
I have problem with farmers. I know that. Let's just put it that way. But all right, let's go on.
Okay,
I just had to
hold
rant
on.
because
I have to ask G-Webs, show us on the doll where the farmer touched you that made you angry at farmers.
Oh, where was my GMO picture of when we have? Hey, that's.
or I'll
I'm not.
jump all over you.
I'm not, but I told you about the whole papaya letter that I wrote and stuff about the problems we had with papayas, right? I'm gonna see if I can chase. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I could find the artwork from the whole bit. I forgot where I got this, but
So is this the Papaya Chronicles?
All right, guys. G-Web just told me goodbye, so I'm done with this site.
oh man, are you mad at me now? What did I do?
I'm not mad at you. I'm done with this platform. I've met a lot of friends on this. I've enjoyed everybody I've met. Even Night Strike. I don't know him real well, but I've enjoyed talking with him.
Same here.
But if somebody that runs it is going to treat people like that, I won't be back. I'll finish the show. Let's finish the show, but
Dusty, you realize we each give each other the same amount of crap. I mean, I've gotten the same amount from even HVS. He's given me the same amount of shit that I've given him too. But HVS is a little more subtle about it.
I know, but
I don't know if that's good or bad, but
it's how you look at it.
My finger's on the eject button, but never mind. Go ahead.
Stomped on G-Webs a couple times because farming. He's anti-GMO, and I've tried to explain to him it's the way life is right now. But
I know he's.
I don't know.
I know he's pro bacon though.
I don't know why he has typed what he typed in the chat tonight. That's the part that's it has
he was
me
probably
upset
just
right
trying
now.
to get a rise out of you. That's all.
Well, he
I'm
did.
Guessing.
He's just trying to poke fun at you, dude.
Oh, here it is.
I mean,
I think so.
Well, don't worry. You should hear my new ringtone. Have you heard it yet?
No, but wait a minute. I need to screen share this for Dusty so he can get a good laugh. You see this? There's some papaya tree there.
The Papaya Chronicles strike back.
Yeah, see what happened? I'll just explain this to everybody so they get the joke if you just walked into this. Besides this, basically there's strawberry papaya, which is the natural papaya that grows on the Big Island. And it was a crop that was exported, and all the strawberry papayas on the Big Island started getting ring virus. And so the University of Hawaii came up with a genetically modified version that is resistant to the ring virus. The only thing is, the strawberry papayas taste good. The GMO ones, they are so bland. It's like you wouldn't want to eat one. But they don't have the ring virus, so they can be exported to Japan, which is about except they don't really want the GMO one. But and so my problem was I would have to go to see these guys in the genetic contamination crew. Well, usually the people that are inspecting and looking for ring virus who go from field to field, they don't wash the bottom of their truck, they don't change their shoes, they don't put plastic booties on their shoes, and they walk from field to field, spreading ring virus from infected fields to uninfected fields, and those are just the ag inspectors. And it's like, but at least these guys in the picture are not going to be doing that. We have the same problem here with the ROD, the rapid Ohia death syndrome on Ohia trees here, where they have new rules that you can't transfer wood from place to place. And you can't export it from island to island. But so my pet peeve, and I wrote a letter to the local paper because I like especially back when I first got here, I like waking up and having cut up some strawberries, a piece of lemon, and a strawberry papaya, and so I would have to go to farmers markets, and a lot of places in the stores, they would only have the University of Hawaii GMO one, and that just tastes like so bland. I didn't have really a problem with it being GMO. I had a problem with it just didn't taste good. And so I wrote a letter to the paper. Somebody had, on the other side of the island, somebody, one of the local farmers who had an organic farmer, I'm assuming this, I don't know. But where I used to live when I first came out here was on the other side of the island, the east tip, in a place called Kapoho. And it looks like this picture pretty much, except without the guys in the white suits. And it's a very pristine area, and there's a bunch of organic farms in one area. And so one guy leased some land and planted like 1,000 GMO, I think it was avocados. And because of the cross-pollination problem, somebody, and the only person I can think that would have a motivation would be a farmer, went and cut down all of them right before harvest. And so the guy who leased the land and paid the rent and paid to put in all these avocado trees or whatever, these GMO avocados, he showed up to harvest, and all of the trees were cut down. And they could tell it was by somebody who knew what they were doing because of the way the trees were cut down. So I assumed it was another farmer, and so I wrote a letter to the editor that said the justice is in the papaya of the beholder. Like the person probably had a motivation because they were cross-pollinating this pristine land in between like 30 organic farms with GMO stuff, and I don't know what Dusty thinks about it. I didn't even know Dusty when they did this, but the owner wrote a letter he replied on the online forum saying he thought I did it, and I hadn't even been to that side of the island in like 7 years when I wrote the letter. I moved to the west side, and I hadn't been back. So like, I didn't do it. You didn't like that the idea that somebody had a reason for doing it. And, anyway, so, hey, I don't want to piss off Dusty because he's my friend. So,
you're not gonna, I understand it, and I understand both sides, but hey, we've had to adapt to feed the world.
Yeah.
The American farmer feeds the world.
Well, it's an economy of scale.
Shall not be infringed.
What's that?
Shall not be infringed.
G-Webs took my cash line and the other day on the Daily Gun Show, so I went and made that my ringtone. Shall not be infringed.
Mine's Yankee Doodle Dandy. That's my ringtone. But I do have that 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. I could make the ringtone on my cell phone.
Well, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get everybody's, all the guys' favorite, taglines. Yours is either Tavor, Karambit, Bitcoin. That would be your thing.
How about crypto supremacy?
Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah.
Yep.
And mine shall not be infringed. G-Webs really should be. I gotta get a clip of him talking about glutens because that's G-Webs.
Yeah, I would thought G-Webs would be more anti-gluten than anti-GMO.
Yeah.
What my experience with them, but
remember, Yankee's tagline is midget tranny hookers. Never enough ammos is go F yourself. So I'm trying to put together so I can make like a gun channel soundboard because I figured that would be pretty cool to put something like that together. So
would be.
All right, so
just for fun.
Whatever.
And I'm not sure what mine would be. Other than probably the worst I ever had was terrific. That's by saying around home. So.
All right. So, is there anything new that happened on gun channels besides that G-Web could piss Dusty off or something? Anything? What's else has been happening on gun channels?
Not much. Just this and that. What about you? Anything new or exciting in in the land of HVS?
In the land of HVS, well, I'm waiting for. Well, here's the whole thing. I'm just
Did
waiting
you
for
register, or are you not, are you still anti-registrar?
register what?
Your guns?
Fuck you. Hey, Nice Strike, have you stopped beating your wife yet?
I'm not even married, dude.
Did you stop beating your mother?
I don't beat people.
That's not what I heard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you know.
Um,
Well, there's a reason your parents are moving to Arizona. Is they're trying to get away from you.
I'm already 3,000 miles away. Well, how much?
It's not far enough, dude.
No, I think it's the trying to get away from the taxes, and that's one big reason. I'm assuming Arizona has lower state taxes than California. They're concerned about the medical insurance transferring, and I don't think my mom wants to move. At least that's what you said so far. But they're going to spend a month and rent a house, probably in Prescott, and they did like it when they visited, but just visiting is different than living there for. So they're going to rent a house for a month and see if they like it. What's that?
What part of California are they from?
Well, right now they live in a place called Newberry Park, which is right near Thousand Oaks.
Okay, they're near Thousand Oaks. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean Prescott was a similar type of area, so they might like it. They don't like Prescott. They could try Flagstaff.
Well, I don't think they'll like
Flagstaff a bit
heat.
more.
I don't think they'll like it if it's too hot.
Well, no, Flagstaff is a little further north.
Because basically, my dad liked to take the dog for a walk 3 times a day, and it's good for my dad's health. Because he also had bypass surgery, and that's the dog. Walking the dog is his main exercise, and he went walking today. I said in the pre-chat that some kid on a skateboard robbed the CVS in my dad's neighborhood, and he was walking his dog towards the park, and one of the neighbors came running out and said, "No, they spotted him in the park. Don't go to the park." And the dog that my dad rescued, Jackson, he likes to chase kids on skateboards and bicycles and cars. Jackson was a rescue dog after Rocky passed away, his schnauzer, it's just that so if he saw a kid on a skateboard, the dog would chase it basically. But one of the neighbors stopped my dad, so I guess I don't know why a kid would rob it. If you rob a CVS and just skate to the park, like, I mean, the park isn't very far away. I think it's the first place the cops would look. But anyway.
Yeah, but you should mention to them they might like Flagstaff a little more just because it's a little further north, so you won't get it still gets hot in Arizona, but in the mountains it's still cooler.
Yeah, they said it was cool when they were there in Prescott, but I don't know what time of year. So they'll go there for a month. They'll be able to figure out.
They'll trade their nice weather for snow.
Well,
it snows up there.
I own some property in Fountain Hills, which is just outside of Flagstaff.
What are you doing with property in Arizona if you live in Michigan?
Oh, it was one of those deals where my dad, some company flew my dad out there, and he decided to take it just for the vacation. So he let him fly him out there. He bought the property, and
Fountain Hills, isn't that near Fort McDowell?
Yeah. It was a community that somebody was building. They made it kind of a retirement community, and my parents bought into it to retire out there.
And so it's undeveloped land?
No, it's a regular city now. I mean, at the time it was undeveloped land, but this company developed it, and for the most part, it took off and sold.
So you have a lot there or a house?
A lot.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, if I should tell my folks to rent to move next to G-Web so they could just I could visit and annoy him.
They won't want to because that's Tucson is too far south.
Yeah, it's probably too hot for him.
Yeah.
So
it's nice. Tucson is nice. I like Tucson.
They visited Tucson, I think, because they had a cousin whose husband was going through some medical problems, and he passed away. And so they were just there to give her emotional support, and so they visited for a few days. But that wasn't like a regular see how you like it kind of visit. That was visit somebody who's in trouble and you just need some emotional support kind of visit, and it didn't matter where they were. So
yeah. Well, Phoenix is nice too, and I mean Phoenix. I don't mean like the area I'm from. That's not so nice anymore, but Phoenix is still pretty nice.
okay, I think I'll just say hello out there to the external. Hello, external. Typed it out there. Okay, so did Dusty chase G-Webs out of the gun channels?
I think
he's still there.
He's still online, but he's not responding. I think he'll
okay.
be on live support.
All right. Well, reminds me I have to go get my safety check for my Blazer.
I didn't chase him out. He's chasing me out.
Okay.
After this chat, I'm probably done. So.
All right. Well, whatever. I'm on gun channels to support freedom and the Second Amendment, and just do my little just spread freedom around the internet. I guess is all I can. That's why I'm on gun channels, so that the next guy that comes along will be free, and that's important to me.
I thought you were on gun channels to support crypto supremacy.
No, the crypto supremacy will stand all by itself. It doesn't need me. It just needs mathematics. Okay, so.
No, it needs you. Otherwise, it can't function.
That's right. It needs somebody to support it.
Right.
Well. Here's you really want me to start talking about cryptos?
No, not really. I'm just
Now you brought it up, not me.
having fun. That's all I'm doing.
Right. Well, there's all the crypto universe or the cryptoverse. Has a market capitalization of 220 billion, and if everybody from the industrial investment community starts shifting into cryptocurrencies, because there's currency problems like there was in South Africa. All the bonds have been declared junk in South Africa, and people are fleeing the South African bonds. I mean, here's the thing. If there's a currency crisis in the United States and the dollar starts losing buying power, what will be worth less than the dollar? A piece of paper that says at some future date they'll pay you some dollars. Those are called bonds. It really depends. I hope it's not like
what else is worth less than $1?
Your show.
Actually,
my show.
I would say your show because I'm getting money on Patreon, so I don't know what your problem is.
If anybody wants to support this show, first see a psychiatrist, and second, you can donate. My Bitcoin address is in the video description. I actually got I think a donation of $25 of worth of Bitcoin the other day. I don't know if it was just an extra payout, but I never before have gotten 2 payouts from Genesis, so I think it was a donation. I know that on the 13th they started withholding some payouts because of all the blockchain of Bitcoin was really congested, and the network fees were insanely high for a few days last week after the SegWit was canceled. So I don't know what happened, but if you're free to, if you want to, the address is in the video description. But I just try and talk about guns, freedom, and the truth until dawn. And if people want to fight, okay, I won't stop them.
If people don't want to fight, that's cool too.
Yeah, well, this is gun channels. People always disagree about stuff.
Why do you lie? How many have you got? 20?
No,
20 what?
just a minute.
Okay, stand by while Dusty gets beat up by his wife. So. All right. So I'm anxiously awaiting the arrival of that Spartan Combat Commander sword. But let's see. I'll show you the ammo that I got on my latest ammo run at Kona Guns. Wasn't anything all that spectacular, but see if I can find my way to turn on the camera, get to the right page.
Well, you had it on just a second ago. What was the problem?
No, it's just I got Windows open, dude. What do you expect?
Well, now I'm in trouble.
Or you're using a computer, so you should be using Windows.
Right. This is how much. This is a 357 Magnum. These are the flatheads. Private Partisan. I got 2 boxes of these.
How much you pay for those?
In Hawaii, at the local gun shop, $28 for a box. Probably a lot more than the mainland prices, but whatever. I haven't been to the gun store in a while. I don't mind supporting the guy's shop. I'm just glad there is a gun shop still. This is the ammo that I shoot out of my CZ Fusion.
Use the honey ammo.
Yeah, the skiv bullets.
Yeah, those are soft points, right?
Well, they're skivved. I'll show you.
'Cause I've gotten the soft point Fusion before. I use that in my SKS.
If you haven't seen any skiv, well, they say the CZ. I haven't shot any of my steel soft points, but you got flashlights, you can actually see the skivved. Can you guys turn on the light?
The light a little to the right.
My right or your right?
You're right.
Can you see this?
Yeah, that's perfect. Go back. Put the end towards us. Right there.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me talk for a minute so everybody else can see it. So I have soft points from Tula. This is brass casing. But yeah, so this is what I usually shoot out of my CZ, and I got some. Still have, more like be accurate, some Never Dull, and I need to smooth out the edges of polish the edges of my bolt because it's getting, ever since I got it, it's been getting caught up, and I just got used to pushing it from behind when I need to seat around, chamber around instead of using the bolt because it's been biting and it hasn't. So I basically, what I need to do is just polish down the edges of the bolt on one section that seems to be biting the action. And I don't think CC did a very much of a polishing job. I'll just compare that to the Tula soft points. In the state of Hawaii, you have to have soft points if you're shooting on state land. So there's like a regular, I'll get my flashlight again. Shoots. That's the regular steel case Tula soft point.
I see it. You don't need it. I see it.
Okay. So that's a regular Tula steel cased soft point, and it's not like this. It's a little like, it looks a little like the skiv, but not quite the same. So, and it's steel and not brass. And I got a box of, I got 2 boxes of Armscor, 223, 2 small boxes.
Is that FMJ or is it a?
I think this is FMJ, yeah. Full Metal Jacket, right? So, and a box, where's my 45? I got 2 boxes of that and a box of Laser 45 ACP.
Nice. Blazers is a good choice.
Yeah,
I thought you didn't have a 1911.
fuck you. That was the first gun I ever bought. I was living in California. I was about 22, I think. First gun I ever bought. And as far as where it is now, I couldn't say. And I also picked up a bunch of these perimeter alarms, poppers. So basically, if the shit hits the fan, or you go camping and you need to set up some fishing wire to set up perimeter alarms so nobody can sneak up on you, you just put them on a piece of fishing line on each end, and somebody pulls it, then it'll go bang.
So which CZ did you get?
The CZ 527.
Oh, you got a 5.7, huh?
Yeah, I think I got a picture of that somewhere. Let me see if I can dig that one out. I have some videos of that one. Let's see if I can find it. I mean, just the picture. My download folder is just insanely huge. Oh, here it is. There's the videos. Let's see if I could actually find that. So I think what pissed me off in Oiley's chat is that it was like 3 against 1, and they were like, they just wanted to, other than telling him that everything that they were saying was bullshit, go ahead and spew it. And I didn't really talk too much. It was like 3 against 1, but I'm used to that kind of thing. It's just whatever. But let's see if I can find the CZ. Oh, it'll probably be in this folder. Yeah, so I basically, it's a great gun. It always hits what I aim at, but they didn't polish, I think, the interior and the bolt to make sure that it didn't bite anywhere, and that's the problem I've been having. Let's see. So I'll try and fix it with Never Dull over the next few days. If I can find the picture. I thought I had a thumbnail of my CZ somewhere. Maybe I didn't do a thumbnail for that. Maybe it just came up when I posted the video. Oh, there's a picture of it, of me with it. Let's see, I gotta open it though with the, I think it was the I Love the Smell of Gunpowder in the Morning video. Open with photo gallery. Okay, screen share. Can you see this?
Yep.
Yeah, so there it is with my loophole on it, varminter reticle. It's pretty accurate, very accurate. So this is my, if I absolutely need to hit the target rifle. It's got an 18-inch barrel, and it's very tight tolerances, and they just needed to polish the bolt a little more, the rough edges, and I think 1 or 2 spots on the inside. So I'm going to try and do that with Never Dull. He was telling me that one other guy that he knows that bought a CZ actually used a polishing tool on a Dremel to polish it, and I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use Never Dull and a stick or something.
Here's the question: why did you get the? Why did you opt for the 527 instead of getting something like the Ruger American Ranch? Because that's also bolt action in 7.16x39.
Well, CZ has a pretty good CNC machining reputation. They CZ aircraft parts, bolt parts, car parts. They're really, and I heard a lot of good things about the factory. There's some factory tours I saw on YouTube. I just heard, and I did my research on CZ, and they just have a really good rep for CNC, and they've been building guns forever. Now, so has Ruger, but I think there was one in stock. It was the price. I had my long gun permit at the time. I could just pick it up, and the price was right. And it was supposed to come with the mounts that the CZ mounts that I'm actually the gun shop owner was surprised when it didn't come with the rifle, but he just called up Davidson and had him send him to him, and he just picked up the cost for the mounts that the CZ makes the mounts for the rifle. And I just put my loophole scope on there. It's the Varminter reticle of the 2017. Which was brand new when I got it. The newest version of forget the exact model number off the top of my head. It's in my video. But I'm really accurate with this thing. It's got because it's got like the elevation. The Varminter reticle has the elevation reticle inside the scope, so you just need to put it on the line for how far to adjust for distance. And
Copy Frenched.
are you playing with your cell phone, dude?
No, I got a text message.
Oh, okay.
As I said before, it's my ringtone now.
It's your what?
It's my ringtone.
Narinko?
Yeah, ringtone. Whenever I
Ringtone.
get a text message, that's the text message ringtone.
Oh, I thought you said Narinko, not ringtone, but okay. Anyway.
But we are talking guns, so I'll give you that one.
So there's my CZ, and so basically when I pull back on that bolt, it comes out fine. But when I try and chamber it, I just have to. Right now, I just got used to pushing on the back of the bolt instead of using the handle because it just bites too much and it just stops. So, but I'm gonna try and just polish the edges so it doesn't do that anymore, and I hope that fixes it. We'll see.
Good luck with that.
It's going to take a few days of polishing, so. But I really like shooting this because it just slows me down, makes me a more deliberate shooter, and that transfers when I pick up the AK. I'm also more likely to be accurate because it just makes me more deliberate in everything that I do. You know, the breathing and everything, and the trigger pull, and so shooting with a bolt action makes me better with all my other firearms. That's just me. I don't know if that applies to other people, but. So I like this rifle a lot, and I just need to get the action a little smoother for chambering rounds. I just got, instead of fixing with it, dealing with fixing it, I just got used to pushing the back of the bolt, which since I was going to do an ammo run and I wanted to see if the shop was still going to be open anyway, I brought and I knew that the owner of the gun shop has one of these, and he deals with invading pigs on his property with it. So I just thought I'd ask him if his action was exactly had the same problem. And he says a lot of them do, but mine was a little worse than the others. So if I wanted to send it back, he'd let me, but they might give me a new rifle, and then I'd have to deal with to replace it. Then I have to deal with the whole wrap back registration crap that we have in the state. I mean, so many stupid gun laws. The last thing we need are stupid gun laws, but they want to pass more of them because they do. So I don't think we're going to have Republicans in power for eternity or anything. Eventually there'll be a Democratic majority, and it seems to switch back and forth over the years. And Trump won't be president forever. So I always, last week's show, we had the link for the Firearm Policy Coalition to write a letter to, you just put your name, address, and zip code, and they have like a pre-typed letter about Dianne Feinstein's assault weapons ban we talked about last week. And so I always do that kind of stuff, and I try and stay active on whenever I get the cards from Gun Owners of America. I always send in those postcards for all the good it does. My congressman, my senators sponsored that stupid bill, and now they also have the I don't know if it's been, I don't think they sponsored the parts ban, but they want to ban bump stocks and anything that will accelerate the rate of fire of a firearm, which is like, it's a silly thing to do. I mean, why would you want to ban how could you ban anything that could increase the rate of fire? I mean, a belt loop or a rubber band can increase the rate of fire. But I think they were trying to deal with bump stocks and trigger cranks, but the way they worded it just didn't make any sense, but it wasn't going to. So there's another thing on, I think Firearms Policy Coalition's website has one, and Gun Owners of America they have those like websites set up where you can just enter your name, address, email, and zip code, and they send it to whoever your congressman is, send a protest letter. So I try and do all that stuff so that at least they know we're out here doing something. But anyway, enough of that picture.
I'm doing the same. You're not alone there.
Yeah, it can feel like it doesn't matter sometimes, but you got to keep doing that stuff.
That's why I got an email from President Trump last week, because I went out there and I did that. Granted, in the grand scheme of things, yes, I know it's not going to really do much, but at least I get, I'm doing something to try and get my voice heard. Maybe if enough of us do that, that'll give them that'll pique their interest enough to actually, I don't know, do the right thing. I'm crossing my fingers here as I'm saying this because, I'm hoping. Because,
Dusty, did you notice that Nice Strike says you know a hell of a lot more than I do?
I've noticed that, but
remember, the politicians don't always do what they should. So,
I'm kind of Night Strike. Can you help me? How do I delete my account out of Guns channels?
Well, I could help you. I don't want you to leave.
Well, I am leaving, so.
Well, it's a free country.
G-Webs was only kidding with you, by the way.
I'm
So
neutral on this one. I'm staying out of it.
I don't think users can on user side.
Okay.
You can check out anytime, but you can never leave.
So
Yes. So wait. I thought this was Gun Channels, not the Hotel California.
Well, my folks do live in California. That's how I feel. I mean, it's because like if my folks need help, I have to go to California, and I mean, I still have all my audio recording studio in California. So I don't know. If Bitcoin gets high enough, maybe I'll stick it in a house in Arizona or Vegas or someplace with low taxes. And what I like about Arizona is they have that law where you can where precious metals are considered currency and not a commodity. They can't charge you capital gains tax if you sell gold or silver, which they can in almost every other state.
Well, you know what, HVS, I think you found your home away from home.
Well, I don't think G-Webs wants me in Arizona.
Hey,
of course, it's not up to him, but
it's not up to him. It's up to whether you actually want to make the attempt and go there or not. That's his.
Well, I'm happy in Hawaii,
I'm sure
more
you
or less.
could do 2 flips.
Yeah, but it's really more of a question for my folks because they have more of an investment in California than I do. I just have some junk in storage. So
It's not like you can't take that junk out and sell it.
yeah, if I could get, I've been thinking about making a phone call to somebody I know and trying to see how much Bitcoin I could get for it. If Bitcoin keeps going up, I'll be a very happy camper. But if I could get 1,000 Bitcoin or something for it, I'd be happy. But I don't know. I kind of, it's like one of my artistic paintbrushes, that 40 input Trident mixing board. I don't think I probably won't ever use it, but it's hard to say. The future is how did that is like a.
You're not going to work for the movie industry anymore, are you?
No.
Well,
No.
then you really don't need it. So.
Well, but what was that line for? I keep stealing stuff from Terminator. What was that line when they go to blow up Cyberdyne? and then the future is like we were writing the future as we were making it. And that line when they're driving up the highway.
You are the resistance?
No, that was a different part. I'm talking about when they're driving to Cyberdyne. When they're driving to Cyberdyne with Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger with the minigun, and they're on the highway, and she said, "We're making up the future as we go along." So something like that.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of like to think of the show. It's like we're fighting for the Second Amendment as we go. And if you're listening to this show, you are the resistance. So if you have any Bitcoin, send it to us, and we'll fund the resistance. But like I was saying, anyway, I'm not going to rant on about Bitcoin too much. I think I have enough ammo for me right now. More would be nice, but I can always go down to the gun shop and get more, because it's going to be. I was going to buy more if he said he was going to be closing, but that's like the shop's going to be here next year. Buy yourself a few boxes of ammo just to support the local gun store and add to your stash. But it wasn't like I have to panic buy 10,000 rounds or 500 boxes of ammo because the store is closing. And there is another store there's more than one store. But it's just all the way on the other side of the island, or all the way up on the volcano. Jay Harrah's.
How many hours drive is it?
Well, the elevation gain and loss to Hilo, from Kona to Hilo, 4 or 5 hours. I'd say 4. 4. I'd say 4. I mean, if you're not speeding, 4. If you're speeding, you could get there faster.
Just hope you don't get caught.
Well, they have. It's right by. If I'm going straight over the hill to Hilo, that's how I blew out my gasket. Get a new engine for my Blazer, but that's right by the Pahakuloa military base. It's more like just a range for target practice. And boy, I'm so sick of the local people protesting the U.S. military. But they always do when they ever do anything. When the Marines show up just to do target practice with mortars or anything else.
It's been how long we've been there? We're not leaving. Protest all you fucking want.
Well, I know, but it's like the Navy has to show up in these public, events, and then these events get put on the internet. So every local crackpot who supports Hawaiian sovereignty shows up and gives the Navy shit about everything, or the Marines. But they send some poor schmuck who has to be there, and not calling the commanding officer a schmuck, but nothing personal.
Hawaii's a state. The United States is not going to relinquish a state. I'm sorry. Get over it.
And I tell people there's no such thing as a Hawaiian kingdom. I mean, and besides, if somebody tried to reinstate the Hawaii kingdom, I think Americans are pretty good at overthrowing monarchies at this point. So,
well, how many have we overthrown already?
Well, at least 2: the Hawaiian monarchy and the British. And I think the British was a little harder.
At least 2, but I think it's a bit more than that.
I'm not saying that they didn't get screwed over, but I mean, there's no king, there's no queen, there's no monarchy, there's no Hawaiian sovereignty. But there are people trying to bring a case before the world court with the support of Russia, basically. So it's like people.
Because Russia is so pro king and queen, right?
Well, they overthrew the Tsar, so
they
I should say so.
My point, exactly. They overthrew their own king and queen. And while you say, well, the Tsar was more like an emperor, it doesn't matter. They still overthrew them.
Well, I mean, I just can't see somebody in I could see that the native people might want to have, okay, this. They might say, okay, this is our new king, and this is now. If the economy collapses, we're just going to declare this the kingdom of Hawaii. The new king would be overthrown or assassinated like the first week, so, or arrested if not arrested by the U.S. military, which would be preferable for trying to take over the island. But I just don't think that I don't take them seriously. There's no kingdom. I mean, it's not worth it. They could declare I think there's a website that says the Hawaiian Kingdom or something, but it's like that's their
Where are
website.
the relatives of the actual king and queen that they had?
It doesn't matter.
No, technically it does, because technically, if they get their way, they're probably going to incite a civil war, because the last king's descendants will probably start a thing saying,
well, there's a lot of
we're
people
the
on
rightful heirs.
There's a lot of people on the internet who claim that anytime somebody gets a traffic ticket or a parking ticket or
I didn't say whether they're not. Legitimate or not.
Well, how are you supposed to tell?
I know, but my point is, if they do that shit and they actually succeed in getting it, they're going to have a civil war on their hands, because everybody and their brother is going to say, "Oh, I'm the rightful heir because my great grandfather was the king."
But there aren't enough there aren't enough Native Hawaiians left for them to have a civil war between themselves. I think there's like 200.
Do not underestimate the power of a civil war. It doesn't matter whether
if there's only 200 people, if there's only 200 Native Hawaiians on this island, how could 200 people have a civil war? They could get together at a bar and have a meeting, and it could turn into a brawl. But
they'll have a civil war. The thing about civil wars is, yes, even if only 200 people are part of this war, and there's 100 people on one side, there's 100 on the other side. The thing about civil wars is they expand outwards. It doesn't matter how many people are there. More people will join either side, because why the hell not?
Well, I don't think Russia's going to invade Hawaii.
No, I don't think Russia wants Hawaii. Hell, we don't even want Hawaii, but it's a state. So
it's got some strategic military assets at this point.
But and that's why I'm saying it doesn't matter how much they want a king or queen. It's not going to happen, because they're a state. They're part of United States territory, and the U.S. ain't ever letting go.
Well, when we let the Philippines shut up for a minute, I mean, what I tell people is TIA. This is America, whether you like it or not. So, and then they assume that what I object to is when they start wanting to divide people up by race and giving them certain set asides or land or rights to education that other people don't get, and they're just getting it when they buy because of whatever race they claim to be, and they're setting racial purity standards. I mean, that's what they did in Nuremberg, and it's like it's
no. That's not what they did in Nuremberg. They did that in Nazi Germany.
That was where do you think Nuremberg is? We
hung people in Nuremberg.
Well, before that, I know, but we did that because of the racial purity laws. They passed racial laws against racial pollution. So if Germans had sex with a Jewish person, that was racial pollution. That wasn't two people making love. That was racial pollution. Okay. But so what they want to do is, because some wrong was done to the Hawaiian people in the past, they want to divide everyone up by race, and they want to commit another racial injustice. They want to create racial discrimination, and in a permanent government. No, they want to commit racial discrimination, and it's like affirmative action. Basically, it's another word for racial discrimination. And so the problem is that they think that, well, if I don't agree with them, then I just don't understand what happened to the Hawaiian Kingdom. Well, I understand. What they are oblivious to is that I'm not oblivious to what happened to the Hawaiian Kingdom. They are oblivious to the fact that two wrongs don't make a right. You can't fix a racial injustice done to one race in the past by committing a government institution to institute racial discrimination again. It's just two wrongs aren't going to make a right. So I try and establish a morally I try and take the high ground in a moral sense that two wrongs don't make a right, and if a racial injustice was done in the past, setting up a government institution to commit racial injustice in perpetuity isn't going to fix anything.
It's not progress.
Yeah, it's two wrongs don't make a right. It's going backwards, not forwards.
Right. All right.
So,
That being said, I'm going to jump out and join match chat. So I will see you later, HVS. It was nice talking with you, and it was nice being on Lock and Load again.
okay, yeah, it's been a while.
So I'll see you guys later. You take it easy.
Aloha.
Night strike.
All right, as soon as he leaves, we're going to talk about him now.
That's okay. I expect it. I expect it, and, I'll take it.
All right. So now he's going to go on the show with a higher viewership so he can leech as many possible subscriptions from Matt's show. All right. So, what else? Is there any gun stuff happening in Michigan?
A lot of stuff is just kind of on hold. They would like to change our carry laws, but they're just kind of sending it to committee and hiding it and holding on to it.
So the legislation hasn't been brought forward yet. That's what you're saying.
Right. Well, it's been brought forward, but they've sent it to committee to kind of bury it.
All right.
They would like to update our carry law. Well, actually, the state of Michigan would like to go to constitutional carry with to carry a gun, but they know I think they know it's not the time to push all that through, and they're going to wait.
They're going to wait the acceptable time between shootings, I guess.
Right. Well,
the political system doesn't make any sense to me. I guess it beats all the others, but it still doesn't make sense.
Conspiratus or whatever. I think these shootings are orchestrated to do just that on legislation.
It's too bad Squibb left, probably because of the subject I was talking about, because I had something I wanted to show him that I know he'd get, that would get a rise out of him, but let's see if I could find it. So it had to do with all the, all the Europeans who like to bash America. I know that's something that Squibb particularly has an opinion on.
Next week, I'll have to figure out how to join through YouTube if I can.
Right.
Or you'll have to send me a Hangout
I'll
link.
have to try and figure that. Well, we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that.
I'm not going
here. Okay. Well,
okay.
It's a free country. Let's see. I'm trying to find this email. Oh, here it is. So when Europeans get mad at America, I got this email from my pop. He forwarded it to me from I don't know where it came. Let's see if I can screen share it. So these are the American cemeteries in Europe. I'm probably going to mispronounce some of these names. In France, Asnay-Marnay, total of 2,289 soldiers buried there. American Cemetery at the Ardennes, 5,329 soldiers. Brittany, France, 4,410. Brookwood, England, 468. Cambridge, England, 3,812 soldiers buried. Epinal, France, I know I mispronounced that one. 5,525 soldiers. Flanders Field, Belgium. Florence, Italy, 4,400. Henri-Chapelle, Belgium, 7,992 soldiers. Lorraine, France, 10,489. Luxembourg, 5,076. Meuse, Argonne, 14,246 soldiers. Netherlands, 8,301. Normandy, 9,387 soldiers at Normandy. I'm not even trying to pronounce that one. France, 6,000 soldiers. And so basically the point of all this is how many, there aren't very many Europeans or any Europeans buried in cemeteries that fought to keep America free, to liberate any part of America that I know of. I mean, but there's a lot of Americans that died to liberate Europe. And they're all over it. And there aren't any Europeans that have done that. There's no military cemeteries in America. I mean, the British were over here, and I think they fought some Indians, and that's what they wanted money to pay them for that, and that's what started the Revolutionary War, because we didn't want to pay their taxes. So it says, yeah, how many French, Dutch, Italians, Belgians, and Brits are buried on our soil defending us against our enemies? Nobody. So, but Europeans like to give Americans shit, so sometimes. So all the people that I've met on YouTube that are like from the bushcrafting community, pretty much I like all of them, and I didn't have any problems with any of them, but they don't understand our gun laws, so whatever. I didn't meet anybody that I really didn't get along with, that I didn't think was a friend in the bushcrafting community when I occasionally do chats with people in Europe. So, but a lot of people in Europe just bash America all the time. So anyway, that's that. Let's check the external before I share all my email with the entire world. Let's see. All right. Yeah, Jesse, it's like that shows how old I am. I mean, I had AOL from when they were sending out the floppy disks. So, and I had one person that didn't like that wanted my screen name so bad. He kept harassing me, claiming that I was using his screen name. But I've had the same screen name on AOL forever, and I got used to it. So, anyway, yeah, people still use AOL. It's too much trouble to change my email. And what am I going to use? Gmail? No, thanks. Google already has too much. They're like Skynet at this point, almost. So, anyhow, I want to thank everybody for tuning in this week. I guess we had some controversy about stuff, and Bitcoin is definitely headed at all-time highs today. And I'm on gun channels myself because I really support the Second Amendment and just freedom around the world. And we can't afford to lose freedom in America because it's the people in the world need to be free. And so that's why I'm on gun channels. I don't have to agree with everything anybody says on gun channels. And I understand if you don't want to take guff off the swine on gun channels, but so I have, and sometimes it gets annoying, but I just need to remember why I'm here. And I really just want to do the right thing for America and freedom. And so, like I said, we aren't going to have a Republican majority forever. We aren't going to have Donald Trump pro-gun president forever. Before we go, does anybody have out there an opinion on the whole thing with elephants, elephant trophies from Africa? I have my opinion on it, which is probably going to disagree with most of the people on gun channels, I think. But got anything to say about elephants, Dusty? The elephant trophies still out there? No, it's just me. Okay. I think that before I call this one off, I would just say that the whole thing with elephants is I saw an elephant hunt on a long time ago, and I wrote the Outdoors channel about it. And it was some guy basically, there was a tourist who had obviously flown to Africa just to shoot an elephant. and they take the money and they spend it to keep all the elephants' preserves financially healthy. So it actually doing that supports the game reservations for the elephants, which saves more elephants. So, but to do that, the way they get the money is by they have a guide, find an elephant for a European or an American to go shoot with a permit. And it was just, I saw it and I didn't think it was hunting. I didn't think it was anything except somebody wanted to shoot an elephant and was paying an incredible amount of money for the privilege. I mean, we could just give them the money instead of having people go shoot elephants. But
you will find that's the way a lot of people want to hunt. Out and sit in the rain all day like I have this week and hope a deer walks by.
Yeah, well, that's hunting. That's hunting. You learn your prey.
But
what isn't hunting is going and having somebody else just, okay, follow me and walk you to the elephant, and there he is, shoot him. It's like, that's what it was. And this guy had such like, oh boy, I got to shoot an elephant look on his face. I mean, it just wasn't hunting to me.
Hard. You pay thousands of dollars. You go on that guided hunt. You don't do the legwork. Somebody else does it for you. They show you the animal, and you get to pull the trigger, and that was your hunt. It's no fun to me. That's not my style hunting.
Yeah, it's not hunting to me.
Yeah. But even in Michigan here, we hunt. I mean, they do the same thing for bear hunts. They go bait a bunch of bears at
the difference. The main difference I have is that how the way it's conducted, combined with the fact that elephants are an endangered species, basically. I mean, their numbers have been dropping. Right, but I understand that the money that they're going to get from these hunts are going to save more elephants than they kill in the hunt. I mean, that is a reality.
You have to control the numbers. You have to control the numbers because there isn't enough land left to let animals flourish like they did years ago. So, I mean,
well,
yes.
It's like I really have mixed feelings about this whole thing because just when I actually saw it, it seemed like it wasn't hunting. It was just somebody who wanted to shoot an elephant.
And because shoot an elephant.
Yeah. And they're an endangered species. But yeah, they pay some
bucks to do it.
Very big bucks. And it keeps all the other elephants healthy. It didn't seem morally right to me. And so I'm not sure how I feel about importing.
And what gun did they use?
It was a big one. I don't even care. It was I saw the elephant dying and it was was shot at near point blank with I assume it was some gigantic. I didn't pay attention to the type of gun. I mean, the guy didn't even. The guy that shot the elephant didn't even carry it all the way. Basically, he walked up to the elephant when they're ready to shoot it. The guy gave the gun to the guy who was paying the money, and then he took the gun right back away from him after he shot the elephant. It was like, that's not hunting. It didn't feel like hunting to me. So
I'd have to look it up, but I think it's called a Jeffrey.
Yeah, well, they knew what they were doing. But the whole thing on the Outdoor Channel is just like, I didn't want to watch that shit. That's not my idea of entertainment. I mean, it's not my idea of hunting. It's not my idea of something that I would want to watch. And so I sent an email to the Outdoor Channel. I really don't like that show, and I don't think I'm going to watch your channel. But that was a long time ago. And I don't think my views on that, having seen that particular elephant kill, have changed. It's just it happened to come up in the news, so I thought I'd bring it up. And if you disagree with me, I totally understand. I haven't even really figured out what my position is, except it didn't feel like hunting. There wasn't any interaction. It wasn't hunting. It was something. It was it was like an industry where people pay to shoot elephants, but it wasn't hunting.
And I can agree with that. So,
but you don't have to. People on the show don't have to agree with me. The thing I will say about gun channels is that in spite of enormous temptation, I've said what I think to G Webs a lot of the times, and he hasn't thrown me off. So you know, it's like I don't. It's like I'm here to support freedom, and that's because I think that's a very important thing for the entire world to just try and understand what freedom is. A lot of people have been brainwashed. I think a lot of my friends in Europe that I've talked to on some of the bushcrafting shows just have a total misconception of what freedom is. It feels like to my friends in Scotland, I would say that I can't see Rob Roy McGregor giving up his sword and firearm and to the British just because some a court, the Parliament, and a British court in London said he had to. Why do you guys do it? That's what I would say. But I don't live in their shoes, so I can't. I don't live in Europe, and it looks like a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there. I like freedom too much. So
he never chased you off, but he said please and goodbye to me tonight. You know, when I threatened to leave, he said please do, and then he said goodbye. So that's kind of like saying don't let the door hit you in the ass, right?
I will let G-Web speak for himself. I don't need to interpret his words for him. Yeah, okay.
It's already done. I've already deleted everything. I'm gone.
Okay.
Night Strike would not what I wanted him to do, but I sent a letter to one of the other moderators to do it tomorrow. So,
well, I'm still your friend. I'm still your friend. Okay.
You're still my friend.
All right.
It's not you. Squib was here to help me tonight, but
well, it does.
I'm not sure why he got mad and left, but it looks like it's the night to piss Michigan people off.
All you people in Michigan. I don't have any problem with people in Michigan. I'll say this about gun channels. I disagree with a lot of things that G-Web says, but so what? You know, he hasn't thrown me off gun channels just because I disagree with him. So on a lot of things. But what I agree with him about, the small percentage of things we do agree about, is that Second Amendment is one of those freedoms that it is very important to, and having freedom in America is important to the world. It's people don't come to America or want to immigrate to America because maybe they can make a buck. I mean, some may be in people's minds that they're just economic refugees, or they think they can make a buck here, or the streets are paved with gold. But I think a lot of people come here because there's a list of freedoms that the people have, and so that's what I was talking about when that FBI guy was saying that retired FBI guy was just like I'm suspicious of people because they're speaking foreign languages. Like, well, if you start in a government investigation because people are speaking Spanish, and I'm like, nothing that you investigate can be entered into court of law. So what the fuck are you doing? You know, but as a private citizen, I was just trying to point out that it's things that look out of place that you have to be looking for situational awareness, not just somebody speaking a foreign language. And so, but I'll just say that I like all our civil rights, the Constitution, and the whole thing. I think it's a pretty important gift that was handed down to the world by the founding fathers of the United States, and it was all because they overthrew a monarch. And all I can tell you is whatever those Hawaiian sovereignty guys get on, and start talking to me. I don't want to live under a king or a queen. So if they want to institute one, and I don't really want to live under some racial segregated idea of righting past wrongs, but in some weird Hawaiian sovereignty paradigm that's superimposed to correct some racial injustice that occurred in 1892. We're in 2017 now. Hawaii's been an American state for over 100 years, and I've only been here for 15, and I can live under the rule of a king or queen. And I don't know who they would appoint, but whoever it is, I'm not taking orders from them. So with that being said, I'm just going to call this show a wrap. And I hope everybody out there is going to have a wonderful holiday with their families and friends, and enjoy peace and liberty and freedom in our great country. God bless America. See you guys next week, because I'll be back. And I stole something else from Terminator. So.
Yep.